movement inspired many African countries that followed in Ghana's independence. Once again, in its capacity as the home of African Continental Free Trade Area Secretariat, Ghana is a leading force in economic integration and development of 55 countries within 8 regions, economic communities in our continent. I thank you, Mr. President, for spearheading this development, for your support Ghana's hosting of the Secretariat on behalf of our continent. Your Excellency, still on the subject of integration, and especially in accelerating the free movement of people within our continent, I welcome your recent announcement of your commitment to remove entry visa requirement for all Africans by December this year. This commitment aligns with one of the goals of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area to create a single market in the continent to drive economic growth, grow and create more jobs, and eradicate poverty. I have informed President Akufo-Addo that in similar vein, Kenya recently removed visa requirements for visitors from all countries with effect from January 1st this year. This underscores Kenya's commitment to complement Ghana in improving free movement, increasing trade, and building a stronger, more united continent. The free movement of people between our two countries has contributed immensely to trade, investment, and tourism. In this respect, His Excellency and I noted that trade between Kenya and Ghana is growing. In 2002, for example, in 2022, for example, Kenya's imports to Ghana were valued at $10.4 million and imports were valued at $4.8 million. We have agreed that there remains great potential to enhance trade between our two countries, especially in the numerous opportunities arising from the establishment of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. President Akufo-Addo and I are encouraged that under the ACFTA, our two countries have taken bold measures to explore these opportunities. We recall that in October 2022, I flagged up from Nairobi the first consignment of Kenyan tea destined for Ghana. On 23rd September 2023, Kenyan-made chloride exide batteries worth about 9.3 Kenyan shillings landed in the Ghanaian port of Tema. While Little Cup, a taxi-hailing service from Kenya, is now also operational in Ghana. My brother and I noted that Ghana Export Promotion Authority facilitated Ghanaian business people to undertake a market entry expedition to Kenya between May 23rd and 27th last year, and consequently, the Ghana Trade House was launched in Nairobi. Undeniably, this initiative represents a giant step towards greater trade within and among various regions and countries throughout our continent, spearheaded by Ghana and Kenya. I congratulate you, Mr. President, for being appointed the champion for Africa Union for the establishment of the Africa Union financial institutions. This include the Africa Central Bank, the Africa International Monetary Fund, the Africa Investment Bank, and the Pan-African Stock Exchange. My brother and I discussed at great length on how these institutions, championed by His Excellency the President, and in fact when he spoke at the Africa Union in February, I endorsed wholeheartedly the building of these institutions as a mechanism of consolidating our own economic and financial situation in our continent. And I concur with His Excellency the President that we should, as African countries, invest in these institutions. And Kenya last year invested $40 million in Afreximbank. We are considering investing in Trade and Development Bank. We are considering investing in all the other institutions as a way of putting a stamp of approval of these institutions and building their capacity to assist us develop our own financial institutions and leverage on them to acquire the much needed concessional financing to finance our own development. Your Excellency, as I have told you, you have my absolute support on this subject, and as we work collaboratively and collectively as African leaders to consolidate the place of the Africa Union and rationalize its institutions and reform its institutions, a mandate that was assigned to me by my colleagues. What the President is championing is going to be part of the consolidation, of the reform, of the enhancement of institutions that will support the progress and prosperity of our continent. I have informed Mr. President that I'm looking forward to him working with me and all the other leaders to make sure that we have an Africa Union as an institution that is fit for purpose to drive the prosperity of our continent. My brother President, the establishment of this financial institution has always been at the center of the African integration agenda. The Abuja Treaty of 1991, Article 19 of the African Constitutive Act of 2000 provide for the creation of these financial institutions and is part of the AU Agenda 2063. Excellency, I wish to express utmost appreciation to the organizers of what we have today and what we will have later in the business forum, and we will have an opportunity to address our business people, guide them and provide them with the latitude for them to interact with our officials so that we can facilitate greater investment, more trade, and enhance our collaboration in a much meaningful way. During our meeting, we have noted that peace and security is fragile not only in Africa, but across the globe. Internal strife, conflict, and wars, compounded by terrorism and violent extremism, are a major obstacle to peace, security, and stability. Statistics show that the number of people killed and forcibly displaced by crisis in Africa has been increasing over time.